So keen on the Triton Poker Series. You got a taste of it right there with the grandeur of the final table being set. There's a look at the chip counts and the payouts. $5.5 million up top, as mentioned, $620,000 on tap. And
23 million, Chapegatien, 7 million Fedor Holz, and the other two in the mid twos. And this is maybe why you fold, because now you have a chance for your fellow short stack to get busted. Although he's a favorite here, there's a chance that 29% of the time, and it's 2.1 for fourth and 2.6 for third, so that's a $500,000 pay jump. No chump change.
Grafton gets to just click call out of the big.
What do you think, Carl? Looking good here.
Slides over to
Not bad. Not bad.
his table mate Carl.
Both reasonable hands, right? I'm going for the absorbing some of Carl's energy. Carl. Sneaky. Sneaky.
Well, Squiddy, the player all in at risk, but as I already mentioned, does have the best hand.
Quite a flop.
Not even a single spade. Just needs to fade the 3-ounce twice. One of the biggest doubles of his career.
Fedor can't win, but should the straight come in, it's a chop. Ooh, there it is.
Queen of diamonds. Holz gets out of jail from Cyprus. Taking it down for 270,000. That's the 25k pot limit Omaha.
I'm pretty sure Grafton's going to take his chances here. Yeah.
3 million something?
Like this play.
Oh no.
Not even really ICM pressure on Grafton per se. He has less than half as many chips as third place, so he just needs to play some chip EV and try to win. And pretty clear jam with ace-10 suited. Gatien getting a big price here to call. I mean, 2 to 1. It's a better. Yeah, and this hand is suited. He's actually.
You folded this to him.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Well, take the favourites at the table, Carl.
Look.
Suited. It was opposite before.
I'm glad there's laughter at the table when we're playing for 5.5 million. So far, so good for Squiddy. The good news for Carl is he cannot be dead, even on an ace turn. Now finds himself drawing to 3 outs once. And it looked like we were going to have a runaway chip leader.
No.
Squiddy 1 card away from doubling, which he does. And now all of a sudden, the stack depths would mean that we're going to see a lot more flops, Brian. Carl just can't, because it's just cooler. Ace-king against kings doesn't count. But if I take it to the streets and bluff you or float with the best hand or whatever it is, with the worst hand or whatever it is, it goes on the scoreboard, and it's now 2-0 to Carl.
Oh yeah. Okay, they counted that one.
They counted that one. He said, I'm counting that one.
Oh, so they haven't had, nothing's gone on the scoreboard since then. It's just 2-0.
I don't know. I mean, I came back, what, 7 left. But apparently that one counts.
That was a beautiful update. I'm glad you were in the booth for that, because, okay, that has a bit of a dynamic that I wasn't aware of between the two.
Well, it was really strange because, you know, it added this leveling complex, if you will, or dynamic, to the very next hand where Fedor ran the ace-king into the kings. And, yeah, I believe they were both first and second in chips at the time.
It's one of those fun things, too. The question, like, do either of them care about the fictitious scoreboard that's worth nothing when they're playing for millions of dollars? Or
because I'm going creative.
Do they?
Yeah?
Or does only
No,
one of them?
lucky. No.
I'm always...
Yeah,
It's fair warning. It's fair warning. You're letting the people know. You're letting us...
Note the ace-7 fold from Linus on the button after the Carl open, and wow.
Wow, and two good hands here in the blinds. One clearly better than the other.
Well, we could see Carl get out of the way, and okay, right, I was going to say if Fedor elects to jam the King-10, which seems fine given how well Carl's been opening.
Yeah, but Fedor decides he wants to play post-flop with Carl, but isn't going to get the chance here. I can't imagine Grafton doing anything other than going all in. It's 20 blinds. Fedor's in the pot. Like, yeah, maybe Fedor has aces here. We're blocking that, having an ace ourselves. And Chapagatian definitely opening wide enough.
All in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, good.
Some
How much is it?
French swear words being thrown out.
One,
Now
two,
this
5.75, I think.
ace-8 off here would not be a good hand
How much you said?
5.75.
Five.
to call off versus an all-in against a range that, realistically speaking, is going to be relatively tight. Like, I don't think you're really going to see aces with worse kickers. By the way, even if you did see ace-5 suited, I mean, you're really not much of a favorite with ace-8 off because it just chops so often, or often enough. But,
5 seconds.
See if Carl just comes with the old, but F it, I call, let's run it.
I mean, but this is the type of spot that's pretty tough, I think, for, you know, not so experienced, especially tournament, 20, 15 blind type situations. Carl's played poker, but in cash games. This hand, I think, probably looks and feels stronger to
I have to
Carl
give
than
you
it
two.
really is in this spot. So, he might come with call,
No
but
more.
I don't think that's likely. I mean, we can see it's not a good play against Grafton's hand, but I don't think it's a good play against his range either.
I believe Carl has run out of time bank chips now.
I call.
He makes the call with the ace-8 off. Brian, if Squiddy can hold here, it's going to move up to over 11 million in chips. Carl's going to be down to 14.
Good start.
Ah,
Seeing Fedor there
Old 8, Fedor.
probably realizes that if he moves in, he might not get hands like ace-8 to fold and just wanted to play post.
No.
Oh.
8-6-4. Carl drilling the 3 outer on the flop.
2 hearts.
Queen of Hearts is live.
Oh, Queen
Oh,
of Clubs
that's a-
on the
I
turn.
should say.
What a roller
You're learning
coaster of a
about-
final
You're
table.
learning about tournament poker.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
One card
No,
to
no.
come. Squiddy gets the hold
Good man.
Was this?
and has now really separated himself from Fedor and Linus with 5.5 million up for grabs for the event.
No, it wasn't a mistake either. I don't know, Carl. I actually do think, by the way, ace-8 off call probably a mistake. I'll stake my claim on that. I'll bet it if you want. But you can see the man is confident.
$1.5. 1,500,000.
Oh, wow. Fedor with an interesting decision here. I mean, Carl hasn't really been 3-betting a lot. Ace-Jack suited is quite a good hand. We're only, I mean, he's not that deep. I mean, the blinds have just moved up to 250, so this is not even 15 blinds. Might just be too strong to fold. He is in a situation where it's him versus Linus to try to ladder up for 500K, but, you know, winning is also huge in terms of trying to win the tournament. I don't think there's any fold equity on this one. I mean, 3.2, he already has 1.5 out there. This is a tough spot. Kind of. It really depends on what he thinks about how Carl's 3-betting frequency, I think.
Do you think any of this past 30 minutes is going to come into effect of Fedor's decision making here?
Oh yeah,
as well?
like is he tilted?
Yeah.
Possibly. I don't know what he thinks about that. Like, is Carl's tilt that he 3-bets more? I mean, Carl hasn't been that aggressive in that way pre-flop.
No,
like
exactly.
A lot of calling behind, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he calls behind a lot and with weak hands.
Yeah, it does say run it.
But he just feels like ace-jack suited is too strong.
How
And in a
much
certain...
I think 3.4.
Yeah, Fedor in
3.4?
great shape here.
I have to check.
Wait, what's he checking? He's checking the app, right? This is the Triton Poker Plus app.
3.4. Okay, good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so he
good.
just use the app instead of asking the dealer to give an official
yeah.
count. But he makes the call with the ace-10 of diamonds. He is behind. You know, the crazy thing is, Brian, is it looked like Carl was just going to run away with it. If Fedor can hold here, Carl's going to be tied in joint first with Sam Grafton. And we got a game on our hands. Well,
Jack in the window, but the gutter actually is one more out than the 10.
indeed. 7.7 million in the middle. And well, what do you know? 7 of diamonds rolling off on the turn. Picks up an additional 8 outs.
Wow.
Good game.
3 of diamonds on the river, and we lose Fedor Holz in 4th, Brian. Such a strong...
Wow, this is...
No.
Look at these hands. It's king,
How
queen
much is that
suited,
now?
pocket 10s, and ace king.
Same as you according to the app. 8 million.
You've got to be kidding me, Randy.
I wonder how Grafton's going to play this. Is he going to 3-bet? Is he going to just ship it in? Keep it simple? Try to lock out his opponents?
2.2.
2.2 million. And the chip leader wakes up with ace king. And we know he's going to get it in. If he's getting in with worse hands, certainly ace king.
Well, you know, the insane thing is if he jams, does Grafton call it off?
Or in
Does Squiddy find the call with the 10s? The Linus going to be able to get out of there.
Yeah, Linus thought he was going to be playing one of these premiums of king, queen suited.
How much? is
10s
that?
though.
a lot.
I feel like
I think, I don't know.
Count his, please.
Wow. So Sam asking for a count.
I'm probably going to have to call it. Can't imagine folding.
I feel like he's a bit committed, given he's put in 2.2 million,
Can I get the-
6.3 behind.
Yeah, the average stack.
I think you can consider folding if Linus was sitting on like 10 blinds,
For sure.
something
Yeah.
quite shallow. But if you
1.3
fold
million.
here, you're actually going to have less chips than Linus, and you might be folding a really big opportunity here. Especially if you're folding against ace king, it would be a disaster, as you can see the percentages.
17 million. 700.
But I've seen Carl just 4-bit rip in kings into ace king of Fedor, and you won a big pot. So you can't just be like, oh, he didn't 4-bet small, therefore it means it must be ace king. I think Carl's ranges is the same when he just jams.
Just take
Yeah, I
them
think
as they go.
since we've been 6-7-handed at this final table, Sam's going to find the call here. And note Sam asking how much Carl is actually playing so that he understands the future game spot that he's going to find himself in, which would be overwhelming
He's such
chip
a
lead.
wild man. It's hard to fold to a wild man.
It is hard to fold to a wild man. Everyone guaranteed 2.6 million. It's a 1.3 million jump between third and second. Has to be playing into Sam's mind.
It is scary. He can easily be
Yeah,
up against jacks, queens,
6.
kings, aces. I guess he needs to ask himself,
7,300,000 behind.
does Carl ever do this with like an ace-queen suited? He needs to think about the timing of how fast Carl jammed here.
I think Carl's out of time bank extensions, if I'm not
Right, so-
mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right. I did hear that earlier. So you can't really read into the time banks. That's unfortunate that
Any time
him
bank
having no
tells.
time banks is actually to your disadvantage at this for this hand. I feel like you just gotta make a stance eventually.
He's
It's
already
too much of a
made.
hand.
Did already. Yeah, he does make the call, Randy. I mean, do you want to try and calculate the dollar EV value of this flip? When you talk about
We'll have a drink in Dubai
career-defining
one of
flips.
these days, right? Have a
Sure.
little-
This is making me
catch up
sick
about
thinking
this.
about how much is on the line on a coin flip.
You can see Grafton with 57% equity. As Linus just gets to watch from the sidelines, potentially ladder 1.3 million. One king dead in Linus's hand. Safe flop for Sam Grafton. Jack 4 deuce. Couple of backdoor opportunities for Carl, but the immediate out's going to be what he's looking for. That does produce one of the backdoors. Gives him an additional 4 outs. Looking for an ace, a king, or a 5 to eliminate Sam. No dice. 6 of diamonds on the river.
Can you take
And Randy, we have a new chip leader, to be exact.
He picks up queens next
Wow.
hand.
600.
Where does he find these cards?
Oh boy.
If Chape Gatien is feeling a
This
little bit
could go.
loosey-goosey possibly, given what just happened in the
1.8.
last 2 hands, and he's going for it.
About to say this could go bang bang 1-2 KO if Carl just comes with rip. Fortunately,
What
he's
did
come
you
with
start
3
Carl?
bet and
What?
What did you start with?
The wheels are coming off.
they are indeed.
No,
Carl.
10 million. 9, 10 million. I think 10.
Grafton deciding whether to jam or 4-bet small.
3.25.
Going to just click it back, knowing
Are you drinking or what?
maybe
No?
Carl might be steaming, trying to get him to put a little bit more chips in.
I'm a big Carl fan. It's time to get out of there, buddy. Asking Sam, are you drinking? What's going on?
Yeah. It's Carl's got to be suspicious against this tiny 4-bet.
You need to give him a countdown. He's got no time banks.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Appreciate the sportsmanship being showed by Sam there. Listen, I'm just don't shoot the
I
messenger.
can't believe you're letting chat just manipulate your thoughts.
They're gaslighting both of us, pal.
They're not gaslighting us. They're diesel lighting
1.1
us.
million.
Or not diesel. What's the word? Petrol lighting us.
There we go. Meanwhile, Sam Grafton seems to have moved up into 6th gear with the 3.6x from the small.
Yeah, you'll see these chip leaders make big raises, small blind versus big blind, because you know they know that the big blind can call very wide in position, and still, even with the larger size, and Jack 6 of hearts is still coming along. No connection. Backdoor potential for Jack 6 of hearts if he wants to get frisky. I would feel like Grafton would think this is a pretty good board to fire on. He raised pre-flop, so we can discount the deuce and 5 a bit more than normal. You know, if we were playing limp pot, it's a little bit easier for those cards to hit. Did he just
What is going on, Randy?
call with Jack 6 of hearts? Excuse me.
I know this man said he loves to gamble and he really likes playing street poker and just
Oh, this is street poker.
testing people's pain thresholds. The float earlier on with the Jack high against Fedor now floats with the Jack high on the 9-5 deuce 1 heart. 5.5 million in the middle.
3.2.
Oh, he's barreling again. This is ballsy. I mean, wow, getting it done with queen 3. So to play even tighter. Queen deuce suited. I mean, if he's going with Jack 3 offsuit, it seems like he's probably going to ship this in. It's got fold equity.
Oh, wow.
Ace
Runs
king,
into the
snap.
ace king of Squiddy.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet. A lot of stuff.
That's your turn.
Bro, you're in fucking great shape. Why you say it looked like it was?
You joking or what?
Your car's
Queen
Well,
nine.
you got 34% alive.
Christ.
6 immediate outs. Spades also an option. 1.3 million on the line. If Sam can hold with the ace king, both him and Linus will be guaranteed $3.9 million. Biggest score of both of their careers. Just one card to come. It's the 6 of spades. And we lose one of the fan favorites, Carl Chappé Gatien. Potential, I say potential, a new poker legend has been born here in this Coin Rivet Invitational.
game, Carl.
Yeah.
Nice playing with you.
100%.
Grafton against Linus Love, 70 big blinds playing 16. So Sam with a sizable 4.5 to 1 in for first. Randy, we have a heads up match on our hands, pal.
For 1.6 million. Yeah, difference. This is scary. And while, of course, Sam Grafton's going to feel comfortable having a big chip lead, he's playing against one of the best no limit hold'em players of all time, who's played so much heads up, no limit. Certainly, Linus, even with this 16-17 big blinds, is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, Linus with more experience than most at the age of 28.
And he's looking up, maybe randomizing? What is he doing?
2 million.
It feels that way, doesn't it? Possibly.
I would assume.
Hmm.
Secret lab chairs have been rolled out. The massive Triton trophy. Now I have a question, Randy.
Enlighten me.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but for this, the 200k, is it a Jacob & Co watch? Or is it a Shambhala Jewels bracelet? Or is it both?
Oh. Producer will get back to me shortly. I want to talk about this hand.
Talk about it. Break it down.
Point. Back to the action. Limp pot. Well, it was limped. Linus took some time to 3x'd it. Got called by Grafton. He's picked up an inside straight draw. Is playing out of position 10-6-5. I think you can kind of go with a mixed strategy. Given he's playing about 12 blinds, I kind of like that he's checking here, because sometimes you bet, you get jammed on. You can't really call up 9 high. Whereas when you check, your opponent bets, you can check call, make sure you see a turn. I think it's a nice spot for a check.
1.1 million.
And of course, Grafton with top pair will be betting it, charging Linus.
I mean, this could just be it here, hand number 1.
If Linus wants to get really frisky, going for a check raise all in, it is possible. Could check call. He has some sick read. He could check fold, but I don't really see that happening.
Just gonna make the call.
Yeah, and
Just 20% equity. Little does he know, just drawing to 4 outs. Sorry.
yeah, he's got about 10 blinds remaining.
5 million in the middle. 3.8 behind. 6 of hearts pairing on the turn. Got a funny feeling this is going to go check, bet, fold, and Linus is going to be down to sub 10 big blinds.
Grafton needs to decide, is it better for him to bet or check to induce from Linus? Although the 10 is kind of vulnerable. Like, he's not sure if Jack, King, or Ace loses the hand from, and
1.5.
I feel like it's better for him to just keep betting here and just try and scoop this pot, blind your opponent down a bit more, rather than let him get a free shot at it.
Oh. I think Linus just tabled his hand.
He tabled at least one card.
Yeah, I saw one of the 4-pip side diamonds show.
Fireworks.
There we go. Hand number 2 of heads up. This is going in the middle, Randy.
The question is, which way? Is Linus going to open jam, or is he going to limp call it off? He's going to rip it in.
Squid makes the call. Ace 5 in the big. Cards on their back. Randy, hand number 2 of heads up. 200k coin rivet invitational. Linus going to need some help from the deck.
It's a 1.6 million.
Let's not talk about that, you know, let's just...
It is a lot of money on the line, and he's only a slight favorite. Can Grafton close it out?
So far, so good. Jack-8 full rainbow. Nice, with some backdoor potential, but has the 6 immediate outs in the form of a king or a 10. Rail watches on. 9 of hearts on the turn. Linus picks up 8 outs. 14 outs once. Can he convert the 32% to stay alive in this 200k? He can, Randy. Now we got a heads-up match on our hands.
3.8, right?
Linus Love up to 20 big blinds. Sam Grafton. Leon Sukanik, LTO, King's Resort owner, just flicking in 115 bigs with 10-9 of hearts. I mean, come on, man. Let's go.
Really just, you know, a lot of times you watch that kind of tournament, you know, you're looking at your fan favorites from the pro side, right? But actually, I really enjoyed watching a lot of the different players from the business side in this tournament the last couple of days. But regardless, button limp as expected with these stack depth. Most suited hands you're going to be able to limp call here against the 3x, and Linus in a nice position, getting a 3.5 million pot in the middle, playing 12 blinds with a really solid pair. And, you know, of course, in heads-up pots, one overcard to the board is not as troublesome as in a ring game. So here, it is troublesome because he is up against the queen, but he doesn't necessarily think his hand is bad. Linus is going to have to play out of position.
Yeah, note the stack to pot ratio.
It's very shallow. So often you'll see bets sized down with these shallow stack to pot ratios.
1.1.
And he's going for about a third of the pot. Now, Grafton's not worried about committing all the chips with his hand. It's just a question of what's the best way to get Linus's chips? Is it by calling in position and maybe letting one of these overcards roll off? Risk that? Or is it potentially raising? And I don't like raising because there's no draw out there. You kind of just get, you know, him to get away from his hand.
Exactly, yeah. Folding out all of his bluffs and only keeping in, you know.
So you just need in heads up, you need to tolerate some risk. And this is one of the kind of risky cards where maybe he got there now. Or maybe I lost some value against some hands I might have put more chips in on the flop. It is quite awkward.
Ace of diamonds on the turn. 5.7 million in the middle. Linus with just 4.8 behind. Could come with like... Yeah, it does knuckle it on over.
Grafton's thinking, okay, you check the ace, which is supposed to hit your perceived range. Is it because you're trapping me? Or is it because you're actually scared of the ace yourself? Grafton knows usually he is up against some kind of hand that's got equity. Oh, and he lets him hit the 9 by checking back that turn.
How has Linus found that 9-ball corner pocket? As clean as it can come. Just drawing to just 5% equity.
As played, Linus is discounting the ace in Grafton's range very often because of how small their stacks were pre-flop. So he's likely targeting a queen or an 8 right now. He needs to decide which one and what sizing is most likely to get those hands to pay off. What size to use to make it look like a bluff.
1.4 million.
And looks like he's going to go for the crying call style. Like, please just call. This kind of bet is designed to hopefully get an 8 to call as well as a queen. Get the best of both worlds. For someone to limp call and call a flop bet on this board texture means they've got a piece by now because there's no obvious flush draw.
Yeah, it comes with the quarter pot block and gets snap called by Sam, who's going to get shown the bad news. 2 outs going to the river.
Ooh. This is starting to slip away from Grafton. 2-1 chip lead now instead of the 3 point. All right, back to the action. Back to 20 blinds. And Grafton gonna keep up his strategy of limping. Hasn't introduced a raising strategy yet from his side. Open-ended, top pair. This is an action flop, isn't it? Imagine if the 7 drops off.
Behave. Behave. I just can't believe that 5 hands in, we've had a 2-outer, had the Linus double, and even this in a limped pot, the dealer has somehow pinged off the King 6 Stray Rainbow, giving Linus an open ender and giving Sam top pair in heads up. Should he turn 2 pair, just going to be an absolute disaster.
6 million.
Linus coming with the check raise.
1.6 million.
Wow.
And once again, similar to the Queen Deuce, with top pair here, it's even less vulnerable given that only one overcard is the ace. I like a call. No flush draw out there. Don't need to protect as much. If your opponent has a straight draw, inside straight draw, no, he doesn't have that many outs, but sometimes Linus is just got a complete whiff. You know, like a 7-9. Something to just check raising. It might blast off on the turn.
All of a sudden, playing a sub-2 stack to pot ratio yet again, courtesy of the Linus check raise.
The queen overcards the middling cards, which is important to heads up, as Grafton would be bet calling middle and bottom pair a decent amount of time with wide ranges, so it's quite scary when another card overcards.
1.9 million.
Not slowing down, Randy.
Yeah. Keep it up. And also, Grafton will have like some gut shot calls on the flop that can't really peel again. There's a lot of hands that Grafton could fold here on the turn. Of course, the King 7 isn't one of them. The question now is, do I call? Or do I maybe just say, there's enough in the pot, rip it in? I'm expecting a call from Grafton, but you can definitely see both sides of the decisions that he's playing in his mind.
Don't blink if you're the best player in the world.
Pretty sure he blinked, yeah. He blinked.
With hearts on the river board pairing. Should Sam have been behind against King 8, King 9, a checked King 10, King Jack in the big blind. It's now chopping with all of those. 8.5 in the middle. Linus cannot win this hand at showdown, he knows that.
But as played, I'd be pretty terrified. Yes, I'm at the bottom of my range. But I check raised the man on King 6-3. I bet the turn and he still called me. It just seems like I'm up against a king. I don't need to just bet the bottom of my range here in this spot and, you know, realizes it's time to give up.
Yeah, not a great hand to triple with, right? Blocking some of Sam's turn folds. 7-4, 7-5.
Yeah.
Gut shots of the world that may have peeled one off on the flop. So already a 7.8 million prize pool over there. So again, another 7-figure payday going to be getting paid out over the next couple of days. But then on top of that, as if that wasn't enough already, we then have our favorite part of the festival, which is the short deck stuff coming up. And we still have, what, 6-7 more days here in Cyprus.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through yet, are we?
We're not done.
Yes.
We're not done yet.
We're still here. And registration is still open in that main event, so more entries will fall in. And likely these two gentlemen will be playing that tournament.
You jumping in?
No, I've learned my lesson. Okay. I'm going to stay here. It's safe with you. It's comfy.
For the most part.
Yeah.
It's not safe with Twitch chat, though.
No. When they start to get angry, I start to not look at it. Onto this hand. It is a limp pot. Bad board for Grafton, so he checks Linus with the open-ended pair draw. I mean, not pair draw, open-ended with a pair. Let's see, Grafton trying to decide, should I deny some equity or take the king high to showdown? He's going to check and counterfeit for Linus. Oh. I mean, Jack High still plays at a reasonable frequency. Is Grafton thinking about value betting King High? Trying to get called by Queen or Jack High?
4 million.
Wow. He's actually value betting this. Trying to make it look like he's gotten counterfeited. Like, say Grafton had like a 8-5, 8-4, it would need to kind of go for it a bit.
Would not surprise me one bit if Linus looks him up with Jack High here.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's actually a little bit of a problem holding the 8 because you're blocking the
King high.
hands
Does
that are
make
counterfeited.
the call.
Wow, that's a sick value bet though.
Sam Grafton value betting King High on the river and getting looked up by Jack High. And Linus Love is down to just 8 big blush weight for a trophy of that size. As this could be it. Snap call from Love in the big blind. Pocket 5, Sam with the 1 over 30% equity. Had his man 1 card away from elimination. The second hand of this heads-up match. Then Linus looked like he was getting back into it. Squiddy has managed to chop away, and Linus' stack getting him down to sub 6 big blinds. Any sweat stealer? Whoa, did I just see it? A king ball.
This could be it if he cannot get one of those 2 5s.
King in the kitchen. Linus Love, and he's running spades or a 5. Well, how does he just do it, Randy?
I mean, he hasn't done it yet, but he's gotten one step closer.
From 2 outs to 11. And the river. 5 of clubs, corner pocket.
Wow.
Very honourable way to do it with the 5 on the river. Not spades would be dead.
The players on the rail. Are there any 5 balls out there? Any 10 balls?
Let's
Any
see how
swapskis?
Linus wants to play 2 7s. Mixed strategy seems reasonable with this. I like to limp with 7s. I feel that you can get your opponent out of line with, you know, we saw him jam like King 5 in this kind of a similar scenario. And 7s would dominate that quite well. Whereas a little pocket pair like deuces and 3s, you'd rather just rip it in where you can't have them have... They'll usually have 2 overcards to your hand. Flops a set against a 10. This is time for Linus to chip up again. Going to check it. It's tricky. It's actually kind of a annoying texture rolling off. Grafton, maybe not mind it so much, given he's got a little extra club for his hand. He should have expected a queen to fire a flop. He doesn't know that Linus is this strong, though.
550.
Bet 500.
The question now comes. Straight's got there, flush has got there. I've got a shallow stack. Do I raise and potentially commit all the chips behind, but also get value out of those 9s and clubs? Or just call? Looks like he's going to keep it cautious.
No help on the river. Sam Grafton.
I see a world where Grafton considers value betting this. It went check on the flop. It seems very reasonable that Linus Lolliger has a 7x, 8x type hand that he can get value from. Maybe bet like half or less. Seems hard to induce. Well, he is going to check, so I guess he is trying to pick off the 9x or jack of clubs, something like this type of hand that couldn't bet the flop. Maybe we think about a big bet with 2 set of 7s.
It comes with after Sam checked his option.
Sam checking screams kind of a weak 1-pair type hand at best. Unless he wants to start trying to level his opponent, he might opt for a medium. Lots of things to think about.
Wonder if he ever like 2x pot jams.
Possible.
6 million.
Okay,
He's just
it
going
comes
to
with
go
pot.
exactly the pot. Polarizing his hand. Him checking the flop looks insanely weak. Grafton knows that. So he might level himself for a call. It's annoying because you're like, man, my opponent, I know he's capable of bluffing against Linus. And sometimes you feel a little more obligated to pay off a big bet, knowing who you're up against. Even if your gut might think, I should lay this down potentially.
It's pretty grim, especially given that you hold a low club in your hand, unblocking the 9x's of the world that call turn, unblocking the high clubs that limped button.
Yeah. Ranges are wide. We need to keep that in mind. He is going to make the call and just get paid off the maximum, and he cannot get rid of Linus, and he just keeps chipping up every single time.
He's had him dead to rights twice. with the ace. Linus playing 16, king 6. We did see him bust out that 75k.
Yeah, with the king
for
7.
silver stack. Wow, and he moves all in with the
He's
king
gonna
6.
get called off here for sure.
This is like the first limp trap that Squiddy's made.
You gotta call off here, phase 7.
Well, cards are on their back.
Sorry for slow roll. Like I don't know. Like you know, it's like a big. Yeah, I don't know. Come on, bro. You know, it's. Sorry, sorry.
Laughter and champagne before the cards are dealt.
With an all-in call, the card with the final table Linus. The only player shows king 6, king of diamonds, 6 of spades. Sam shows ace 7, ace of clubs, 7 of hearts. We're gonna see a flop. The flop is ace 5 5.
2 diamonds.
Ace 5-5, looking good for Sam Grafton, who's already had his man all in twice. Linus needs a diamond to, well, I mean, it's never easy. 6 of clubs on the turn, giving Linus 2 outs.
He's done the miracle before. One more time for Linus.
Could have been dead on so many turns. 9 of clubs on the river, and we have our 200k coin rivet invitational champion. Sam Grafton taking home 5.5 million for his efforts here in Cyprus. Linus Love.